guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and on this channel I want to share with you ways that you can bless your marriage. So let's talk a little about me first. My husband and I have been married for nearly 20 years. I know. We're a part of the minority when it comes to marriage, but it gets even better. We are each other's second marriage. As you probably know, most marriages end in divorce, and definitely most second marriages end in divorce. We both came into our marriage with children, and later we had 2 of our own. So we have a total of 5 children. I'm happy to say 3 of our 5 are grown adults, and they're making a positive impact on society. Our younger 2 are still home, but they're in high school. And of course, like most high school kids, they are counting the days until they become adults and can go on to college. Isn't it kind of funny how as adults, we want to go back and be children again and have that sense of carefree living where somebody else is always taking care of us? But of course, as children, we want to be adults and have what they feel is freedom. I don't know about you, but I would love to go back to carefree living sometimes. I want to share with you all of this to let you know what I bring to the table. I want to help others. It doesn't matter if this is your first marriage, your second, your third, or even subsequent marriage. I feel that what I can offer you will help regardless. Whether you have children or not, I believe you'll still be able to find value in this channel. Now, let me say this. We didn't do it all right. Like every marriage, we've had our ups and our downs and our ebbs and our flows. I truly believe that it is how you recover from the lows that makes your marriage stronger. One last thing. Marriage isn't always pretty, and it can be ugly at times. But if you're in an abusive relationship, seek help immediately. By no means am I saying to deal with the abuse and that you will need to change in order to make your spouse stop. That is not what I'm saying at all. And again, I urge you to seek help if you are in an abusive relationship. Tips I provide are no means to sustain an abusive relationship. You know your relationship, your spouse, and your family. If you believe you need assistance, please seek professional help. I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't promise to save marriages. I'm simply sharing what has worked for my husband and I over the years. Now, let's get started. Here are 5 tips that will help you build a stronger marriage over the years. By no means are these the only 5 things you should be doing for a great marriage, but these are the top 5 that helped us strengthen our marriage. Number 1, pray for your spouse at least once a day. You will notice I said at least once a day. There have been more days than I can count that I have prayed for my husband nonstop. Each day brings new trials, and some days we would be in the midst of a battle that seemed endless. On those days, I felt like all I had the strength to do was pray. Number 2, put your marriage first. This was hard for me, especially in the beginning when the kids were smaller. When James would come home from work, I honestly had nothing left to give. Like most stay-at-home moms, I just felt like at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was put the kids to bed and hit the hay myself. And I will be the first to say, this is probably where most of our problems stem from. I didn't put my marriage first. I had a great Christian mentor that shared with me the importance of making us first. I had heard it several times, but for some reason, this particular time, it stuck. I'm not saying that I've always done it. There have been times where I put myself first And there are definitely times where that may need to happen. With every portion of life, there are seasons. But make sure that for most of the time, your marriage is important. Your marriage is first. I'm thankful I listened, because now, as we only have 2 left at home and they'll be gone soon, it will just be James and I. And I am very happy to say that I love him more today because I know who he is. Because all those years we put each other first. We did the work. We made time for our marriage. We continued to learn who we were and who we were becoming. Number 3, make time for date nights. I know this can be hard, especially if you have little children at home. But remember, a date night doesn't have to mean that you go out and get a babysitter, although those nights are wonderful to recharge your marriage. But date nights can also be curling up on the couch after the kids go to bed, watching a movie together, playing a game, cuddling, talking, reading together. Just find time to reconnect, recharge, and be together. Number 4, communicate. I know this is a tough one. We spent years, and I mean years, in counseling at the beginning of our marriage. We were learning to live together, juggling visitation schedules, ex-spouses, and being instant parents to children that we didn't give birth to. We had a slew of other challenges. Counseling was great in theory. And let me stop there. I am a firm believer of counseling. I think it's great. I've gone to counseling. I think that everybody needs somebody to talk to. However, just like with anything, you have to put into practice what you learn. That's where our struggle lied. It was really easy to go back to our normal life. But through counseling, we did learn how to communicate better, using I statements, listening to your spouse, validate their feelings, try to empathize with them. Especially if you don't agree with what they're saying or doing, still try to step back, look at it from their perspective. And most importantly, pray together, even when you don't want to look at each other. When we pray for or with someone, God has this ability to soften our heart toward them. And I'm here to tell you, I have witnessed this on so many occasions with my marriage, with my kids, with friends, and many others. Take the time and pray. If your spouse is reluctant to pray with you, that's okay. Pray on your own, but invite God into your marriage and give him your worries and cares. I'll go a little bit more in depth in praying for your spouse in our next video. Finally, number 5, take chances, learn new things. This was another hard one for us in the beginning. We are both creatures of habit. When the kids were younger, we had a very rigid schedule. As a matter of fact, if I didn't have the kids in bed by 9, I would freak out. No joke. As the kids got older and as I got older and learned what was really important and what I could let go, those things faded away. And I am not saying that your child doesn't need a routine, because guys, I am a believer in routines. We schedule everything. Everything is in our calendar. But over time, I did learn not to stress out over whether or not they had all 5 began their baths at 8 o'clock and were in bed by 9. Parenting is a learning experience, and I'm not here to give advice on that. That is not where we are focusing. My point in using this as an example is to show you how we began and to encourage you to flex in your marriage. My point in using these examples is to show you that as we began to flex in our marriage, new opportunities opened up. As I began to pray more for opportunities to connect with James, I learned that instead of being frustrated when he wanted to go golfing or fishing, I would go with him every once in a while. It was a win-win. We had time together, and it was used as a date. It was used for me to learn new things. And even though I didn't love either of them, it was a time to connect with my husband. It was a time that I eventually looked forward to because it was alone time with him. Here we are 20 years later, and we've ventured beyond our personal hobbies and have done new things together. I would love to share our adventures and some of the unique dates that we have done over the years in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching. If you found my content useful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I will be posting weekly videos as to how to bless your marriage. Thank you all. God bless.